Good evening, Americans, and welcome to The Ed Show. We are live tonight at Maury High School in Norfolk, Virginia. This is a great middle class of America right here in Norfolk, Virginia. This is the school that I went to. I'm so proud to be here tonight. These folks are middle class Americans. They sit behind me tonight watching this program. They're going to communicate with us later. I think that they are the fabric of this community. But of course, this is my high school. Why wouldn't I say that? It's a privilege to be here. It was a privilege to attend this school, a public school. I also had the privilege to learn from talented public school teachers. And in the argument that's taking place in this country right now, there is one political party that wants you to think that these folks, they're the problem. They're the reason why this country is having a hard time balancing its budget. That is not the case. This is the story that is taking place all over America. This is ground zero. Well, ground zero is in Madison, Wisconsin. Madison, Wisconsin, where the governor, he took a union-busting bill and put it out and made it law of the land today. He's about to sign it. I think he's going to do it tomorrow so he can get exactly one more day of press coverage. The Wisconsin Assembly forced it through late this afternoon, and Walker vowed to sign it. The governor says this is a victory for the middle class.
That's what this bill is about. It's about reform. It's about making sure we can put people to work, we can save jobs, and ultimately balance our budget in a way that protects the middle class here in Wisconsin.
Walker is dead wrong. This is one of the biggest attacks on the middle class we've seen in decades. The people of Wisconsin are furious at the way this governor and his cronies pulled this off. The gallery in the Assembly erupted as the Republicans after they passed this bill. Here it is. The Republicans had to be escorted out by state troopers after the vote. Protesters even gathered around the governor's office in Madison. Take a listen.
The whole world is watching. 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 The whole world is watching.
The world is watching this power grab. This country is watching it intently. At this hour, protesters are planning their biggest rally to date for Saturday. Minority Leader Barca and local unions are planning lawsuits over the way the Republicans rammed this bill through. The recall petitions are growing, larger by the minute, and the public employee unions are even starting to use the word strike. The president of the Madison Firefighters Union will join me momentarily on this program to talk about that possibility. And you know what I think? I think Governor Walker actually wants a strike. It would give him the chance to fire strikers just like his hero Ronald Reagan did back in the 80s. Scott Walker feels like he's in the driver's seat right now. But I can tell you that this is far from over. My message to the people of Wisconsin, nothing is lost until you give up. Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think about this issue tonight. Tonight's text question: should Wisconsin public workers go on strike? Text A for yes, text B for no to 622-639, or go to our new blog at ed.msnbc.com. I'll bring you the results later on in the show. Joining me now is Joe Conway. He is the president of the Madison Firefighters Union. Joe, good to have you with us tonight here on The Ed Show. I appreciate your time. I know it's been a very stressful day for you there in Madison. What actions are you and your union taking against Scott Walker tonight?
Well, it's a dark day for the working middle class in Wisconsin, Ed. And, you know, just like Governor Walker has created these tools for this budget shortfall that he's creating for all the municipalities, we're using tools too. The recall elections, economic transparency, and of course the talk of a general strike. And it's something that we don't want to do, but maybe it's something we have to do.
Well, if those actions don't work that you're talking about early on, the protests, because when the governor signs this, it's the law. You can protest all you want. You can motivate people to go through the recall process. But the fact is that this will be the law. Do you think that this law will resonate and be so strong with people that they would actually strike? Would you advocate that?
Well, you know, a strike is the trump card, as Jim Kavanaugh from the South Central Federation of Labor said. We got to work on it. We got to put everything into place. We got to make sure that our emergency operations are in place, and it takes a lot of coordination. The general strikes that happened in Ontario in 1976, 77, 78, that's pretty similar to what happened here in Wisconsin. And so we got to take those lessons learned back from the 70s in Ontario, 1935 in Minneapolis and San Francisco that created the National Labor Relations Act. We got a lot of education, a lot of learning to do, and if we do put this into place, we got to make sure it's effective, and I think our people are ready.
Joe, Republicans put a provision on page 16 of this Senate bill that gives Governor Walker the power to fire striking public workers during a state of an emergency. Now, the question comes up, what is an emergency? Well, the governor actually could declare that our finances in the state of Wisconsin are a public emergency. Will this make unions think twice before they go on strike? Your thoughts on that?
You know, we're fighting for our lives here, and you know the governor has violated the laws in Wisconsin. I don't think that our workers are afraid of them, and if we have to go out, we'll go out. But we're going to do it in a fashion that tries to protect our workers. We may do city by city general strikes. We may do general strikes throughout the state, maybe isolated incidences. But again, it takes a lot of planning. Takes a lot of coordination, and all the unions have to work together with the public. It's not going to be just union members that will be walking out.
Yeah, you're right. It won't be just union members walking out. It will be workers all over the state of Wisconsin. Now, given the governor's track record, given his track record, do you think that he will fire public workers if they do strike? Do you think he'll pull a Ronald Reagan?
Absolutely. I wouldn't put anything past this governor. He's a vicious person. I mean, we've seen it, the way that he ramrodded this bill through the Senate, the Assembly. He really doesn't care about the working men and women in Wisconsin. And so we got to protect ourselves. You know, the economic transparency, we got to know where the money's being spent from these corporations that have, you know, given Walker this free rein in Wisconsin. Our members shouldn't have to be spending money in places that are used against us. And so we want to inform them. You know, the M&I banks, the Quick Trips, the companies like that. That's one of our tools to help combat this oppressive governor.
Thank you, Joe Conway. I appreciate your time tonight. You are a firefighter, and of course, not a part of the collective bargaining issue in the state of Wisconsin, but because you care for workers, that is why all the firefighters and police officers are involved in this as well. Assembly Minority Leader Peter Barca offered an amendment to have the Assembly Speaker Jeff Fitzgerald removed when the debate started today. The amendment failed on a party line vote as expected. Barca also filed a complaint over the way the Republicans pushed this bill through both chambers. Minority Leader Barca, he joins us right now on the Ed Show tonight. Mr. Barca, good to have you with us. Why do you think that you can get this law over? You bet. Why do you think you can get this law overturned?
Well, Ed, clearly they violated the open meetings laws of Wisconsin. And in Wisconsin, we treat those very seriously. You know, I've always been so proud of our state and our reputation for clean, open, and honest government. And I think the courts are going to look very carefully at this, and I think they're going to realize that these laws were broken.
Well, if the laws, okay, right, the legal fight is going to take some time. When this is signed by the governor, collective bargaining is gone. And the only way that you're going to be able to turn that around is go through the recall, get the majority back, put it back on the table. This is going to be a long process, a long, drawn-out process. And the only recourse that you have right now is to go strike, which isn't going to do anything other than get media attention. And the only other thing you can do is strike. Would you advocate, as the minority leader in the Assembly, that public workers and other workers not show up for work because of this law?
Well, that's not for us. That's for workers to decide for themselves. But our fight will continue. They're going to continue in the courts, Ed. We're going to continue at the ballot box. There's an election here on April 5th where we warm up. May 3rd, the governor's top aide, Secretary Hipsch's seat, is in play in La Crosse. We expect to have a very good chance of winning that seat, which I think will send shivers through the spines of Republicans. And then there'll be recall elections after that. And we'll also continue to bring our fight to legislative bodies, and we will not give up. This fight has only just begun, Ed.
Mr. Barker, good to have you with us tonight. I appreciate your time so much on the Ed Show.